Good evening, individuals. It's Sap back again with another weird news article that I just found, I just discovered. And it's about a man who truly achieved the highest peak of any fucking high any human being has ever experienced and any human being will ever experience, unless they will swallow 247 bags of cocaine. But let me read the headline. Man dies on flight after swallowing 246 bags of cocaine. This is like Hunter Biden's wettest fucking dream ever. I mean, seriously, like this guy fucking 246 bags of cocaine. I don't know how much is in one bag, but even if we're going to assume the lowest amount, because the dealers are usually selling at least like a gram per bag, but it's probably way more in one bag. But the lowest possible amount would have been 246 grams of cocaine. This is like a high that, holy fuck, every southern redneck American has never heard of before. And yes, of course, in the southern states, I'm pretty sure the meth is the most popular drug of choice because it's really expensive and way more potent than the famous nose candy, which was recently found in the White House. Yes, old art. Well, not that old. A month and a half old news article that there was a bag of cocaine found in the White House in like the, what is it called, the conference room, the biggest, most important room where all the decisions are being made about whatever else policy. But there was found cocaine, but not 246 bags, and I don't think somebody has actually swallowed all those bags, but this man has on an airplane. So holy fuck, this motherfucker was so high he didn't need the airplane anymore. He could have just flied himself. Like, he really just could have jumped out of the plane and fucking went anywhere on 246 bags of cocaine. Again, before we get into the article, how much would it probably on average have been in grams? I guess that there's at least probably 10 grams of cocaine per bag. So yes, he was on 2.4 kilograms of cocaine. That's a pretty potent dose. But again, for Hunter Biden's Parmesan cheese habits, it might just be on the lower side. But let me read this shit. A Japanese man, has died after swallowing 246 wraps of cocaine. So first he said bags, now it's wraps, but I'm still going to assume it's at least a gram, but probably like 5 grams per wrap. I mean, I don't mean it wrap in terms of food, although there was another news article I already reviewed about a woman who smuggled meth in burritos, meth-stuffed burritos. Did the border guards eat it, or did she eat it? I don't know, but those burritos must taste very good. According to the Attorney General's office of the state of Sonora, Mexico, the passenger boarded the flight in Bogotá, of course, Colombia, and was pronounced dead at Hermosillo airport just a few hours later. Yeah, unfortunately, one downside of swallowing 246 grams of cocaine is you will die, unfortunately. But you will, at least on your gravestone, there will be, this motherfucker experienced the highest of highs. He died respectably. That's all you can say. It's better than the man who, which happens every week in the UK now, that people actually die because they get bitten to death by XL bully dogs. They didn't try to shag the dogs like the usual UK person, but no, there's like a massively legit dangerous, especially to babies and kids, of course. Dogs, XL bully, it's called, the breed. And the people who breed those motherfuckers try to actually get even stronger genetics because they're used in dog fighting. So they obviously want the strong dogs. But these dogs fucking kill people in the UK. Apparently, like every week it happens. But that's a different story. The 42-year-old, known as Udo N, whatever that means. I mean, 246 grams of cocaine, man, I would call him, was on an Aeromexico flight to Narita, Japan, when the crew were forced to make an emergency landing after noticing the man was suffering convulsions. It's tragic and needed urgent medical attention. No, seriously, it's tragic, but I was expecting them to make an emergency landing because this man was about to fucking jump out of the plane and fly himself. I mean, this man was about to fucking take over Tesla, take over Amazon, and discover all the aliens in the universe on 246 grams of cocaine. You could say he was about to fucking conquer, like what he was about to conquer the entire planet with all the, what is it called, the mofo in the history, Alexander the Great or something. I don't know, I need to read up on my history, but he was about to do what Alexander the Great did, but only in a couple of minutes on 246 grams of cocaine. But yeah, he was suffering convulsions, which is tragic, which, you know, expectedly will happen on 246 grams of cocaine. The seizures you get, I mean, I don't even think, before I continue reading, I don't even think, obviously, you will not instantly absorb the entire 246 grams of cocaine, but it will be slowly. But even if you're on 1 gram of coke, you will already, first of all, have a blood pressure that's so high you would instantly get a stroke. And the seizures from the excitotoxicity of the dopaminergic neurons would kill you probably very quickly. It will not be an hour. It will be just in a matter of a couple of minutes. In a post-mortem, doctors removed hundreds of bags of the Class A drug from his intestines and determined that his death was the result of a cerebral edema due to a hypertensive crisis. So yeah, I mean, you could definitely draw the conclusion that the death was due to 246 grams of nose candy, except it didn't go through the nostrils, but through the digestive system, of course, and then ultimately in the bloodstream to the central nervous system. But listen, cerebral edema due to a hypertensive crisis, yeah, it's probably the first thing what's going to kill you. But you could also argue that actually it could be the heart that gives out first. Serious question. If you have 246 grams of cocaine in your stomach, what would kill you first? The insanely high blood pressure, which would result into a myocardial infarction, or just your heart fucking exploding of so much stimulants, or the seizure/stroke. Obviously, a stroke is partly, of course, cardiovascular, but I think that actually your heart gives out before your brain explodes in terms of a stroke, I think. Because it's also depending on how would you classify a death. Because you have sometimes in the hospital, you have what you call vegetable. That's not trying to be offensive, but it's somebody who's hooked on a machine where the most parts of the neocortex, so the cerebrum, are already dead, brain dead, but his or her, or they them, brainstem, aka the medulla, pons, and midbrain, are still somewhat active, so that the human being is actually what you call a fucking vegetable, aka brain dead, but there is still brain activity. But if they weren't hooked on the machine, they would die. So it depends on what would you classify as a living human being, of course. That's always a discussion. The 42-year-old man died during a flight to Japan. A statement from the Attorney General's office said, on a Boeing 7878 aircraft with license plate, okay, I don't fucking care, coming from Mexico City and bound for Narita, Japan, personnel noticed that a person was suffering from seizures, so they requested an emergency landing in the city of Hermosillo, Sonora, and at 2:25 paramedics dealing with the case decreed Udo without life. Yeah, rip in peace. But again, on his gravestone, there will be man died from 246 grams of cocaine. He had literally the most insane party that any human being has ever experienced. Unless there is an article or a case, which I don't know about a man who absorbed 247 bags instead of 246 of cocaine or meth. That would be even more of a potent high. But I don't know. I don't know if this man holds the world record of the most fucking amount of cocaine in your stomach ever. But it could be that somebody actually beat the world record. Hours later, the Attorney General's office of the state was asked to take charge of the forensic studies to identify the cause of death, locating the 246 plastic wrappers 2.5 centimeters long by 1 centimeter wide. So yes, that means at least a gram is in there, but probably like 10 grams. So it could be that the man didn't have just 246 grams, but kilograms, 2.46 kilograms of cocaine. Yeah, that would make the high a little bit higher, yes. Located in the intestines and the stomach. The body of the traveler did not present other signs of violence that could cause the death. Other studies will be carried out in the pathology area of the General Hospital of the state to rule out health problems. Yeah, it's definitely not the 2 kilograms of cocaine that killed him. It might be that somebody actually touched him. Which, by the way, happened to a woman, a 21-year-old influencer from New York who went on vacation to Dubai. Yes, an influencer kind of deserves this. But what happened is she had a problem at the airport security. I believe she couldn't locate her bag or something. And then she just tapped, like this, a security guard in the Dubai airport. Tapped him. And she was sentenced to 1 year in prison. Like, I have no fucking clue how that is even a law in the first place. That it's illegal. It's not like doing this. It's just a tap. Not a sack tap, because then it would understand why it's inappropriate. But how the fuck would you get 1 year in prison for tapping a security guard? I believe she was trying to ask something. I don't think it was meant to bully or to provocate or anything. But this 21-year-old influencer is now a year in prison in Dubai. That is GG, kid. I mean, that's really unfortunate. But that's why you probably shouldn't go to Dubai. Coroners, discovered 246 grams of cocaine inside the passenger. Again, that is fucking insane. Following the tragic incident, the rest of the flight's 189 passengers shared the cocaine or were able to carry on with their journey. I mean, I would understand if those passengers say, you know, sharing is caring, bro. Oh, voice crack. Sharing is caring. If you are traveling with 246 bags of cocaine, at least, you know, it's kind of like bringing a bag of Haribo snacks into the classroom or a pack of gums. Everybody's gonna ask, you know what I mean, to get a piece. But also crazy, by the way, because the flight originated from Colombia, which definitely makes sense when it comes to the nose candy. You know, it's kind of the cheapest there, I believe, in any place on Earth. It's probably the cheapest where it actually is located and produced by very good, famous chemists. But they were trying to fly to Japan, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, Japan has some of the strictest drug laws on any country on the planet, along with like Singapore. So if this man was caught on the airport, he was fucked anyway with the 246 bags of cocaine. I'm pretty sure Japan has insanely strict drug laws. Probably get life in prison if you're caught. In Singapore, there's a death sentence, right? Earlier this month, a flight had to be quarantined when a couple died after contracting the bubonic plague. Is that a new virus or bacteria coming to us? Lovely. I would love another lockdown. The 38-year-old man known as Citizen T and a 37-year-old woman reportedly fell ill after eating contaminated marmot in Mongolia. Alright, I'll try not to eat contaminated marmot in Mongolia next time. Okay, so this is the nose candy, also found in the White House, of course. Or baking soda, whatever you see it as. According to the Siberian Times, the man died on 27 April while the woman passed away 3 days later. Okay, but this is the different story. This hasn't anything to do with the cocaine smuggling. But yeah. Thank you all for watching. What? Traveler says getting cocaine was like ordering a plate of fries at world's first Coke bar. Okay, a Coke bar. What the fuck? Where is that? Oh, Bolivia, of course. Colombia. Then it makes sense. I thought it was maybe in a Western country. Otherwise, I'll go to the bar right now. But thank you all for watching this video. Again, man dies on flight after swallowing 246 bags of cocaine. Tragic, but all I can say, I mean, it's one at least somewhat respectable way to go compared to people, you know, for example, there was a traveler who died a gruesome death because he was stuck in a cave for like 14 days and then like actually stuck, couldn't move, and then died of dehydration. I mean, that's probably one of the worst ways to go. But at least having the highest high known to mankind in the entire human being history, 246 bags of cocaine, at least that's somewhat respectable way to go. And it can be said you have the world record of the most cocaine absorbed of any human being ever. But I said that about for 10 times now. Thank you for watching.